What's up, allies? We are on the heels of Toys for the Ages, and while there, we ran into Angel Bear Customs. They do custom work of Care Bear stuff from the 1980s, filling in the blanks that never got met in the original line from Kenner. And we've got a few of these products, and we're going to take a good look at them. And we're back here, and we've got 4 products to take a look at. If you were paying attention to last week's video, you noticed that we walked into a booth that was setting up at Toys for the Ages called Angel Bear Customs. And their product line is basically custom Care Bear items that are inspired by the 1980s Kenner line of the little rubber action figures and such. And they did Cloud Cars, and they did a Care-A-Lot playset and such back in the 80s. But the line was somewhat incomplete. Many of you that collect it will know that there were some of the cousins that were introduced in the series that were never actually made, and a lot of the enemy characters that were introduced were also never actually produced. Enter Angel Bear Customs, and they kind of fill in those blanks for your collection. And not only do they have some of the figures, but they also have display options. So we're going to take a look at some of these, and we're going to start with the cousins. 2 of them that were never introduced. Now, some of you are probably aware that there are a number of the cousins that were released here in the United States. Then there are a series of them that were overseas, but were extremely uncommon. And then there was a pig that I've never actually seen in the wild whatsoever, that's extraordinarily rare. And there was a horse that was never made of the cousins. So what I decided to do was pick up the 2 more uncommon ones, which are the pig and the horse. And we're going to start with Treat Heart Pig. The company basically puts them in these little, I guess sandwich boxes is the word that we're going to use. They have a little sticker on the back that has the logo, the price. This guy was $30. We're going to take him out of this. Oh my goodness. They have these, it appears that these are glued together to a certain degree, which I understand because at a toy show you'd be worried that somebody would steal them. So they do take a little bit of effort to open up here, so I'm going to do this off camera because it's going to make a lot of noise. Alright, so I just tore this open, and I also wanted to point out, in case the camera hasn't seen this, that they're in this, they've got this batting that's in here, kind of making it look like a cloud, which I think is neat. I'll pull Treat Heart Pig. That is right, yes. Treat Heart Pig out of the package here, and we'll take a good look at them. And as you can see, these are completely handmade, and it feels, yeah, I'm going to say these are resin, at least that's the way it feels. These are cast in resin. You'll notice that he has the little squiggly tail the way a pig does. The heart is on the booty, the way that they are on these toys. He does have the little tuft of hair. Now, the one thing about these guys that I noticed is that they aren't currently not articulated. Now, I don't know whether that's something that's, in planning down the road or whatever, but currently these guys are just castings. Now, given the fact that you would likely display these by putting these in a case with your other ones, I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing per se, because how else would you really display these and what would you do with them? So, again, they're not posable, but certainly right alongside your other ones, they work just fine. As you can see, it's painted well on the belly. Everything is hand done on these guys, and this one is really, really cool. Now, I also have the horse, which is Noble Heart Horse. That one was much easier to open. And he has, look at the beautiful mane and the tail. He does still have the little curly Q hair at the top. He is also extremely well painted and well sculpted, and again, cast out of a hard resin. They are fairly hefty. They've got some weight to them, and they're really, really, really cool. I do intend to pick up the dog, the cat, and the monkey, so that I have a full set. Those are basically the only ones I'm missing for my cousin's collection. So I want to go ahead and pick those up. But I decided to try these two first because, again, these are the ones that even, you'll never, this was never made. And I believe this ended, if I'm correct, at the stage where they were just doing some tests on them. They never actually released the pig. So I grabbed those first. The cat and the dog almost never come up, or the monkey or whatever, but they do occasionally in hundreds of dollars if you find them on an auction. So I picked these two up, but I intend to pick the rest of them up. I think they're actually really, really nice. The fact that they are not articulated would be the only area of opportunity that I have. But overall, with creating something like this, I think it's been done very, very well, and it's a real nice way to fill in the holes in your collection. Now, this isn't all that they offer. They also have some of the enemy characters, in which case I picked up No Heart. And much like these, he is not articulated. He does come in this nice box. Again, has the color on the front there, the color label. He's got some of this paper stuff in there to protect him. And, all right. He is super cool. Again, not articulated. It is more of a statue than an action figure. But on the base, it has the Angel Bear Customs. And this is very, very well sculpted. It's a very, very nice figure. Very well painted. Truthfully, the fact that it's not articulated is really the only thing that I would suggest indicates that it's not like a high quality toy per se. It looks great. It's painted great. It's very heavy duty. Yeah, this is really neat, guys. And it's a really cool thing that was never made. I really, really like this. I really like this. And in his case, because he's sort of on his own and he won't fit in the cases that I used to put both the bears and the cousins in, I decided that I would go ahead and get one of the other things that they offer at Angel Bear Customs, which is display options. In this case, it's No Heart's Tornado Cloud display. And this is in a pretty heavy-duty box, as you can see. This one ran $35, by the way. As I open the box, we got a little bag in there. Now, I bought this, I don't want to say sight unseen, as you probably noticed from, like I said, the episode last week. You probably noticed that they were setting up. So they had one of these on display in the booth. Just want to make sure I got everything out of there. Yep, sure did. But I didn't actually take this one out of the box. And wow, that looks really, really cool. There's like a little... That's neat. I'll give you a nice close-up here. You can see you've got the little panther type thing there coming out of the cloud. And this allows you to have room to display on here. What you can do is you could put him on the cloud to display him. Now you have a couple options here. You could set this on a table just like this and display it, but if you look at the back of this guy, what you'll see is that there are notches here on the back of the sculpt. And what this does is this corresponds to these pieces, which, as you can see, you can screw onto the wall, and then these will slide down in these tracks like this, and you can position it on a wall. Which is neat, because if you actually looked at the display that's in that video, and of course we actually have an interview with them in the full Toys for the Ages segment that'll be coming in our next full episode, so I encourage you to watch that, and you'll see a whole lot more of what they're offering. But this is a really neat thing. We have some, also in here was a neat little sticker that I'm going to put on the swag board in my barbershop, and a card that has images of some of the other stuff they offer. And I'll put this here. You can pause if you wish, and use the QR code to find more information on Angel Bear Customs, which I do encourage you to go do. They do sell their products regardless if it's at a toy show or not, so you would absolutely be able to get these even though you were not at Toys for the Ages. And I dropped them. Let's get into final thoughts. All right, so my final thoughts on these guys are really, really simple. This is a really, really cool thing. I love the booth. I love the display. I love what they're up to. I think having something like this that allows you to really, really expand your collection beyond what Kenner actually produces is a really cool thing. It would be more interesting, and I would be happier about it if they were articulated. I will give you that. But overall, I have to say that despite the lack of articulation, they are really, really, really cool. And it's a really brilliant idea that they had, that they came up with. And who's to say, maybe down the road, they will be articulated later on. But for right now, and for the price of $30 for these guys, the stand was $35. And was this guy 30 as well? He was. So I don't think that when you consider the price point, I don't think they're bad at all for what they are. And I think they will look great right alongside your Care Bear figures and give you a real opportunity to expand the line and complete it with all the characters that were original, to the original story. Also, interesting of note, they also do things that are loosely inspired. For instance, they have horror versions of the bears and some other things that I would encourage you to take a look at that are really, really neat as well. So they're really doing great things. They have larger displays than this one to put figures on if you choose to. They have clouds. They have this. They have that. They have all kinds of things. So by all means, check them out. They're really doing a great thing here and offering collectors an opportunity to get into expanding their Kenner line because this line is not overly huge. And so it's pretty easy to complete, and so this gives you a chance to continue on and do something else. So overall, this is a recommend from me. Like I said, the only thing is just go in knowing that they're not articulated, but overall, even all that considered, these came out pretty cool, and I really, really like these a lot. So thanks for listening, and thanks for watching, and until next time, allies.